folks, welcome back. It's John Pettipas doing an impromptu video, and it's Sunday afternoon, the 7th day of March. Don't forget, 6 days from tonight, from Saturday night, you'll turn your clocks back 1 hour to be in time for church and work and everything else next Sunday morning. So I'm doing an impromptu video, and the title of it's going to be, I can't call it Happy March Break, because that's not till a week away yet. New Brunswick is different from Nova Scotia. In the United States, the March break is different in Canada. Newfoundland probably might be a little slightly off our schedule. They're always a half hour ahead of us over there in the great province of Newfoundland. Where's my trusty Newfoundland flag? Yeah, there. There. Well pleased, my sons, my loves, to have the Newfoundland flag up. Beautiful. Fantastic. Fantastic people out there everywhere. Anyway, the title of the video is going to be Great Kids, Our Future's Bright. And I'm not plagiarizing, but there's an article, there's a wonderful columnist in the Halifax Herald, Joel Jacobson. God, what a fantastic gentleman Joel Jacobson is. And he wrote a column for years. Bright Spot and Great, another one he do, second column of the week was Great Kids. I can tell you there's lots of great kids out there. All kinds. People focus too much negativity. They listen to the media, Christ, you need, whatever. You need to go for a walk to refresh yourself. You listen too much to the mainstream media. I was just at a home this morning, and I knew the grandparents. I know the parents, and I know actually knew the great-grandparents. I know the grandparents, and I know the parents. They're wonderful. They get the advantage of being half Cape Breton and half mainlanders. You can't do much better than that. They take first generation mainlander and half Cape Breton. So you get the best of both worlds. They're raising chickens, they're doing eggs, they plant a garden, they make pickles. Biggest thing with kids, not being preachy, but is self-confidence. I did a video a few weeks ago on President's Day on Harry Truman. I told a story. It's actually not a story, it's a fact. Couple in the late 60s, early 70s, a lawyer guy I'd served one evening, supper to, and I was telling him a story of Harry Truman and something. He said, I have a story for you. And as a young guy, just articling lawyer in Kansas City, Missouri, he happened to see President Truman across the big wide Broadway type, big wide streets in the Midwest. And he hollered over, "How do you do, Mr. President?" And Harry Truman hollered back, "I do as I damn well please." And so anyway, I was like that. My mother said one time, "I never controlled you growing up. You pretty well did as you pleased." I was the only child. I was 5 too. That kind of helped. Anyway, so I can think of Gerard Darlene's oldest son, Master Michael. And he was only, probably a 12-year-old boy. And his grandmother had a wonderful job. She did at the greenhouse every spring. And wonderful job in the apartments as well. But to take in, lots of lovely ladies. Folks I had a privilege and pleasure of working with. Anyway, she didn't like seeing snakes in the greenhouse, and they get under the frame in the green. So Michael took the can of Sistofoam, and he went around with the gravel that fallen after frost and winter, and sprayed Sistofoam in it. And I said, Gerard, I seen next night at work, I said to him, Michael did this, Margie didn't like seeing the snakes in the greenhouse. In spring of the year, it's got warm, and it's warm in the greenhouse to go in where it's warm. And customers wouldn't like seeing him either, for that matter. Anyway, he says, he gets that from not being hollered at every time he wants to do something. And he does it. And Brainy Brent, he'd go ahead and he'd take from a youngest age who was doing painting the sign letters. And he took it was called burlap bags. Took the burlap bag, this is a paper bag, but put the burlap bag down, and then he put the letters on it and painted them. So self-confidence from an early age. His youngest brother, Daniel was able to bake it. There was Baker Brent, certainly very capable. But the self-confidence. So, lot of great kids out there. All this crap about this is wrong in the world, this is wrong in the world. The wonderful home I was in Frankville, Harbourshire today, the kids have self-confidence. They're not afraid to do something. Okay? Gerard Darlene's kids, actually they're grown men now, but they're not kids anymore. They're children. They're grown men, but they take in, one's an airline helicopter pilot and instructor in the military. One flies the choppers. One guy fixes the choppers, and the other guy does something planes too. So they're kind of like the Wright brothers plus one, ou deux trois, the Wright brothers plus one. They're all related somehow to aviation. One's on the plane, a passenger plane. One's fixing the choppers, and one's flying the choppers. So there turns out by coincidence they all ended up being aviation. Anyway, back to make the point. March break is coming up, and I remember a book of the late Frank Sobey. And the author of the book interviewed a lot of people. Frank was still alive when this was done. And they said that Frank, all his life, as a man and as a senior citizen, elderly man, he never lost his childlike enthusiasm. I'm going to repeat that. The late, great Frank Sobey never lost his childlike enthusiasm about any purchase. It was then called Atlantic Shopping Centres. Now it's called Crombie REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. His stores, he loved the stores, whatever. He never lost his childlike enthusiasm. Okay, that's a hallmark of people very successful. And so there's lots of stuff you can see. A pandemic, biological germ warfare, whatever. There's a wonderful place in Halifax that's practically getting into is the Pier 21. I tell that to everybody. It says it's going to be a short video. I'm running up on over 6.5 minutes already. I have no idea, folks, when I start these videos, how long we go on. And I'm going just ad prompt. I don't even have notes today. Anyway, Pier 21 in Halifax. You got to go and see that. There's not a citizen, not a boy, girl, man, woman, old, young, that shouldn't go and see Pier 21. The industry of science and industry, the Museum of Industry and Science up in Pictou County at Sullivan. Fantastic place to get interactive displays that kids can do to get the locomotives, and they got all kinds of stuff that all kids love trains pretty well. And there's lots of nice stuff you can see. There's the Miners Museum, open by appointment right now in beautiful Cape Breton Island. Miners Museum in the beautiful Glace Bay, Cape Breton Island. So lots of nice stuff you can see and do, okay, in this upcoming March break. So I just let the kids do what they want to do from their earliest age within reason. There's nothing like self-confidence, and I'm going to finish up where I started. Great kids, the future is very bright. It's just that there's always lots of smart kids. I've never seen so many bright kids as I see now. They're just, whatever, Sesame Street, or Mr. Rogers, or speaking, I've noticed that kids that still have their grandparents are fortunate. I knew my two grandmothers, the one in Boston briefly, and I remember as a kid my grandmother in Tracadie, because my father was older when he got married. I never knew either one of my but when the grandparents, not only the parents, the grandparents, when the grandparents are around, that has a great influence on the kids too. With that, I got to wrap this up. The future's bright. Too much negativity out there sometime, but a lot of smart kids with self-confidence to do stuff, and they'll be developing the business of the future, being the tradesmen and operators, engineers of the future, or doing whatever. Remember, Jack Welch of General Electric told a graduating class at some big university, he said, do what you enjoy doing. Now, money will be a side benefit. Do what you enjoy doing. I've never got out of bed in the morning and not looked at hopping out of bed and working on whatever project I'm working on next day. And it's that childlike enthusiasm. And I've noticed people that keep that, maintain that. It's wonderful what the impact can be on humanity. With that, I got to go. It's John Pettipas, wrapping up now at about 8 minutes before 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, which is the 7th day of March. Share this video around. Show it to the kids. And kids are so smart, they'll share it all around, and maybe one of these days one of my videos will go that holy grail in the video industry of going viral. So with that, lots of great kids out there. God bless you all. God bless the great kids. God bless the parents and teachers and everybody comes in contact with them. A lot of wonderful folks out there. There's a bright future. Never forget that. Share it and subscribe to the channel if you're so kind. We're making good progress there. And thank you all. All the best. God bless. Bye for now.